Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com. I'm going to kibitz a few games of some of the titled players who are going at it right now. So this is a 3-0 game against, two CMs are playing, two candidate masters. And what do we have material-wise? Black is up a pawn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, up a pawn, but one of them is, we have a doubled pawn, a strong knight here on d5, so we could have ooh. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's just a losing move, isn't it? Knight takes bishop, and then bishop takes knight. So that was a... This is probably just resignation time, and we'll dive right into another game. Not we'll see what happens here. This is a thinker. So that was missed. I'm assuming what was calculated was, instead of bishop takes knight, I think what was calculated was takes, and at the end of it, the queen is unprotected. With c6 to follow, you get the piece back. But this isn't working out so well. So we have at the very least, the queen trade, I guess. Otherwise, this rook and queen are just gonna eat up these pawns. So let's see. It's not a full piece. Initially, I thought black was gonna be a full piece down. Not the case here. And let's see how exactly white goes about converting this. So technique time, and white wants to make sure that this rook isn't going to attack a2, so cover the second rank first, and how exactly to make improvements. Ideally, white wants to get a pair of rooks off, and then this rook could have its run against the black pawns, getting into the 8th rank and inducing some weaknesses along the way. I don't know that this is really the approach to be taking. I like the idea of maybe just getting to d2 and then here, but okay, this is sufficient. The rook is here to watch over the base point a2, and this rook is going to start to watch over or attack these pawns. However, how do you really get at this one? The king will be here to defend this pawn. You play here, you have a5 to deal with, and this bishop has a very good post. Maybe not so easy to convert this. The idea is to give a check, kick the king away from this pawn, but in the meantime, this rook is going to grab on a2, and then b3 becomes the next base point. And before you know it, maybe this pawn could do some damage. Okay, so this is a very... this rook is still there to watch over b3. I was going to say there's a way to lock down on b4. I don't know how significant that would be, though. So how exactly to make progress? Oh, okay, here's the idea. Sneaky. Rook b7. If the pawn moves, you get b6. So the rook is there to defend. 23 seconds is probably the bigger issue than anything. a5, rook a7 here. Black has all the base points covered. This king could probably do a little bit better here, huh? Okay, so we have that trade. That was a perfectly healthy h-pawn for a not-so-healthy f-pawn. Looking at doubled pawns there. That was a doubled pawn that black just gave up, and it's not so easy, is it? If black had more time, this would be much more interesting to see how exactly white would convert this. A minute 10. 1 minute advantage. So, oh my goodness. This pawn is in a pin now. Now this rook can't go too far. The bishop's there watching over h3. Wow. Okay, so black is definitely not going into the knight quietly here. This rook can't go too far, otherwise we have takes one way or the other. How to make progress? This bishop is just awesome, isn't he? He's really gluing everything together. He's not just watching over the pawn, but he's also making it difficult to even get into a position to attack this c7 pawn. Well, now it's a lot easier. Rook to g8, or rook to g7. So this is much easier, and also take a look at the time. This one's gonna be over before you know it. So we'll watch one more right from the top of the key, right from the beginning of the game. And there we go. So white had an advantage right at the opening. There was that miscalculation, I believe, from that first move that we saw. Bishop takes d4. Are these guys going to play another one is the big question. Nope, those guys did not want to play another game. So let's dive into this one here. IM versus FM. These guys have played 2 games so far. Yakov getting the better. 2 wins. 2-0 against Mr. Bugs Bunny here, the FM. Let's see how this one plays out. Let's close out of that tab. Okay, so the first thing I see when I look at this position is this awesome queen position, and I see dangerous things happening to black after knight g5. Black is there to defend, but whenever I'm in a position where one of my pieces is restricted, as is the case right now for this knight, I tend to worry. I worry about, is there some way to just attack the knight and capture him, you know? So how exactly to recapture? You take with C, there's queen b4, and you take with E, there is e4. How to kick this queen out of here? I think there's a fairly clean way to go about that by moving the rook and then playing queen to f8. How are we doing material-wise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 versus 8. Okay, so black is a pawn up, but is restricted slightly, but then again, you might reason black is the side who has a bit of a time edge. Maybe we could just offset that. One move away from being fully developed, one move away for white as well. But maybe this position could just open up now, right? That's what's going to happen. I was saying e4, but better is this because the threat was just to give a check. That would be very uncomfortable. So I don't see anything wrong with taking on c3. I don't see a way to, again, get rid of this knight. I like this idea of rook here. I'm not quite sure where the bishop belongs. Yeah, I really don't know where the bishop's home will be. But I think the first thing to do is get rid of that queen. So rook here, queen here, and then you could give the queen a kick. Or even after queen f8, after the queen moves, play king g7 and then follow up with the kick of the knight. So not sure where this bishop belongs. I'm not sure what white needs to be doing. White still needs a flight square. Oh, this is the first thing that comes to mind here. This is weakening this diagonal. I guess this is looking for f5, take here, and then what? Kill this knight. But is this queen going to be able to play here with check? You know what you could do? You could first play here, kick the queen off of this h6 post, and then play to this square with check and grab on c3. Not just to grab a pawn. It's not just a pawn grab because it is coming with something quite forceful. This is a loose piece on d3. So, how are we doing time-wise? This is, I don't know if I mentioned it early on, this is a 3-2, so we are having queen f8. 3 minutes with a 2-second increment, so you can't just go into crazy time burner mode like if I was playing here. That time burner tactic does not quite work in situations like these. So how exactly to defend the knight? With the queen, no, you drop h6, so I'm thinking king here. That's what I would do instinctually, but is it really good? Candidate moves, king here, queen here is no good, you drop this. So I'm thinking this, king g7 or a knight move, and we have a knight move. I really was going to say that, even though I said it after the knight moved. Now there's maybe some move connected with queen c5, check, rook moving, although the queen and rook are there to watch over f2. So now potentially a good knight versus a bad bishop situation about to happen. And this knight is a really, really strong piece. Black is up a pawn, but this knight is a monster. There's no way he's worth just 3 points. And how do you get rid of him, right? It's not a hole, this e5 square, but you might as well consider it one. After f6, you're just dropping g6. This is a very, very committal move. Even if one day this was possible, seeing that g6 was, let's say it was protected, you're really subjecting your king to a world of hurt on the 7th rank. He has no safety whatsoever as soon as you touch that pawn. So a4, you could kick the bishop away and grab here if you want to go pawn hunting. h3, I'm assuming, oh, this is just lights out. Well, I shouldn't say that much, but it's picking up the exchange. It's hitting the queen, and here comes knight f6. So, that sneaky knight. However, hang on for a second, because if check, king here, and there is no knight takes rook because the queen on h4 is unprotected. So, we're at a minute 12. Okay, we're picking up a pawn here, and what do we have there? Nice. Queen takes knight, rook here, and how do you stop mate? Or the loss of a queen? I believe you don't. Right? Queen takes knight, rook here, Or we have that sneaky check. Was that missed? Ouch, you have to run here. Oh, that was a nice move right there. King to f2. This king is able to run. What an interesting game. Less than 20 seconds. Again, there is this increment, so you still have to be very delicate with the moves you're making. Oh, there goes the rook. What was the alternative? Rook takes rook, queen here would have led to mate. Now down a rook, and queen e1 is a threat. Ouch, down a rook. Okay, now this knight is back here. Still, this idea of rook h3 might be available, and the queen yet again goes back to kick this queen away. Even though there's only 10 seconds for black, I'd certainly be wanting to play black here. Pretty sure, at least. So everything should be covered. Even if you wanted to return some material, get rid of that pesky knight, but he is not going into the knight quietly. Okay, the rook is there to watch over knight f6. 6.8 seconds. Full rook and what? A couple, one pawn, a rook and a pawn. Is white going to be able to stir up some trouble though? Less than, no, just for 5 seconds. The rook could play here. The knight is in a pin. So looking for something like rook a4, just get rid of that knight. Oh, there's a check. This is dangerous. Check here. Oh my goodness. Check here. There's now knight checks. Oh my goodness, how's this going to end? King here, knight check. King here, a king walk. What was wrong with king h6? Oh, you can't go too far. You have to babysit the queen. Perpetual check. Is that what it's going to be? It seems like it. Look at these pins. The king is tied down to the queen. This rook is tied down to the king, and now we have white is going for more. If rook takes king here, there's rook check here. King here. Black has some coordination still. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. How to convert this? Oh, this is the passed h pawn. Wow, what a comeback right there. This pawn is passed. This pawn is passed. This king could maybe be in some trouble though. Now white has some coordination. You got to watch out for some checks and picking up the rook. Another check. You don't want to go here. Queen f5. And we have a win on time. Wow. What a game that one was that I jumped into. All right, let's see if we're going to get another one from these guys. I want to see one right from the beginning. Let's see. Okay, those guys didn't want to play anymore. Let's see if these guys are going to play one right from the beginning. So let's just cutting into this one. Let's see how this finishes, and then hopefully these guys play one right from the beginning. I want to see one right from the start. My first thought is this knight is just a giant pain. When you do a comparison, the C file is clearly the most important feature of this position, the only open file. A lot of tension on it, both sets of rooks on it. But when we get a little bit more specific about the squares on this file, I'm looking at the C5 and C4 square, and C4 as a whole, C5 is not, which means that it's difficult for white to be throwing in a minor piece and clogging up the C file. White has to be the side who really is cautious here because of a knight move, and then it unleashes this strength of pieces, right? The rooks are now barreling down here, and we're just dropping a pawn, aren't we? However, there is knight takes here, which I think was better, wasn't it? Because the queen was here to watch over c2, and I think you could have just picked up that pawn there, if I'm not mistaken. This is an interesting move. I'm not sure when it was played, h4. It seems like it was played at a time where white was maybe looking to attack the black king, and now it's maybe more long-term coming back to bite white in a way, because this knight has a really interesting post, but maybe not so much, right? There's not another piece that could really coordinate well over here on f2. There's a little check that could come in, but that's not leading to anything. Okay, so a knight ending where black is up a pawn, but no, not up a pawn, completely equal material-wise, but now we have these checks, queen d1, queen f3 stuff, maybe knight coming back into g4. I think if white could make sure that they could watch over the f2 square, there won't really be too much that you could do against the white queen. All right, still going after the f7 square now. And here we go. Some pressure on f2. Knight here is now a killer. Wouldn't have been. Oh, no. If the knight went there right away, queen takes here would have defended the f2 square. So this wasn't just the win of a pawn, but the win of a pawn that would defend against a potential threat on f2. And this is a 3-0 time control, so 22 seconds to 46 seconds here, offering a queen trade. Black definitely wants to avoid that because of this outside passed pawn, just too strong, especially in knight endgames. The knight is now officially gone, but so too is this one right here. I guess white for that one moment was looking to first give some check. You might see queen h4. No, you just have a queen trade, and even in this position, ooh, that was really interesting. Oh no, I guess that's the right way to go. If you took like this, then there's always this push, and there's an outside passed h-pawn. So black is, they have a nice pawn formation here. This pawn's going to be picked up. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Pawn push here. No, now white is actually the better side because their king is closer. And can he get back? It's a big race. Who's going to get there first? The black king is getting back here just in the nick of time to watch over g7, and this should be a draw, but yeah, it's going to be a draw. We're going to have a pawn push soon. Push, push, and then this is just enough time. Why are you going there? Why is white going there? Oh, white was the side who had the more time. White wasn't welcome to just going for a draw. That's why. I was confused for a second. Okay, these guys, please play one more game right from the beginning. Yes, there we go. I was starting to get worried. Could you hear it in my voice? All right, right from the beginning. Let's see. So, let's see. FM, two 2300s. I'll call it 2400. Caro-Kann defense, 3-minute game. We have a declined version. Does anybody know what the difference is between knight c3 and knight d2? What new possibilities available to black if knight c3 is played opposed to knight d2? Feel free to share your thoughts on that one in the comment section below this video. So, knight f3, okay, we're still mainline land. As it turns out, black was just capturing on e4. Alright, so this is all theory, right? However, this move is not too common to me. Okay, well, usually you just take the bishop and the queen recaptures and you're not having to retreat with a knight. So, yeah, this is a little bit off to me. Because what you eventually end up seeing, you might reason, well, you're just helping white to recapture and bring a new piece into the mix, but oftentimes you'll end up seeing this queen want to voluntarily move somewhere else. E2 is a fairly common square to go to, getting off of the d file. Black will often castle queenside. I'm assuming we'll see that in this game, and you really don't want to be opposite that rook, so it was a little bit awkward to me, not losing or anything, but we'll work with it. Bishop is going to be playing to c3. This pawn wants to make sure it has control over d5. This is the next break to certainly be aware of, where there could be a structural change. Queen e2, I'm assuming, or do you pick up the bishop? Why not pick up the bishop? So that we have the dark squares. Here is white. a3 could maybe turn out to be annoying. I was thinking a3, but queen here does the same thing and then some. Alright, so we have d4 defended. Bishop here is available, but I think maybe a decision is going to be made with now the king castling queenside. The rook is well placed right behind the d-pawn, and there might be one day some rook lift. This is a pretty common thing to see. I don't know in this exact position, but some rook lift is sometimes available. This is a very interesting move. What is it doing? It's undermining white's center. It's allowing white to pick up this pawn, but this queen is going to be smashing through very soon. Also, if bishop takes knight, pawn takes, then there'd be pressure on the h-pawn. So black could take here, and, well, look at this structure right here. This is a very, very ugly structure. This bishop is hit, the queen is hit, and now after king here, is bishop here going to be annoying? Ooh. That could be painful. Yes, it could. That could be very painful. Bishop a5. That's what white's calculating. I'm reading white's mind right now. Yes, bishop a5. Now what? The bishop is saved. Now we have another check that could be thrown in. Where's the king go? Here, maybe best, or what? The king could run. He could run to safety here. Don't be afraid, white. Take the pawn here, and then you're threatening all sorts of good stuff. Queen is hit, a couple checks, the king runs here. Or is it so easy? The rook is hit. Rook here, queen check. The queen could block. Wow, we're just giving up the exchange now. Queen takes. All right, well, I guess black wasn't seeing a way out, and maybe there just wasn't a way out. So now this king's going to get back here, king to e2. He ran away for a little bit, but now he is no longer scared. This rook doesn't want to go too far just yet. Has to watch over h5. And now this pawn is passed. I wouldn't be surprised if you give up this pawn just to keep this guy pushing if rook b8 was played, but much simpler, huh? Yeah, just push. Okay, and well, 2 pawns are going to be lost. This king will be able to track down this pawn. So this pawn is now dropping with check. There's still the tricky knight. Never underestimate that guy. Never. Especially in blitz. He's in check, king here. This pawn, again, he could be stopped. He could definitely be stopped. Oh, there might have been some sneaky stuff with pawn push, rook here, and then some check here. Why is the king going here? Is there some mate threat happening? No way. Pawn push? There better be a mate. Otherwise, this is just queening. So what's the trick here? Check. Oh. I don't even know. Oh, check. Check. And then the king would have to go in front of the rook, and then the pawn would be lost. I knew that one. I knew it. I saw it late. Okay, so now the knight has to go back. He has to go in retreat mode, because you don't want to allow these checks, but the rook will eventually manage. Rook c8, check, push the pawn, and then give a check on the 8th rank. These pawns are a long way away from posing any threat. So 33 seconds to 28 seconds. The king is now just going to zigzag his way over here until the rook is done giving checks. I believe staying on light squares so that this knight cannot move and give check. If you want that to be the case, play to the same color square, or stay off of the same color square as the knight if you don't want the knight to move and give checks. So now here we go, rook c8. And then we push, and then we want to give a check on the 8th rank, and then that's going to be it. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Mate happening very soon. A couple checks, you dodge him, and that'll be it. Stay off of that same color square as the knight. So now he's probably just going to run over here, hide on a3, and then that'll be it. Right? See, and we're also down on time, too. That's the other big problem, isn't it? And that's GG. All right, we finally got to see one right from the beginning. It took a while to do just that, but we got one in there. All right, I don't have really anything more to say. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next video. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.